my experience was amazing. When I came here with the hopes that I would hear messages from loved ones that are no longer here, and that's exactly what I received. When she told me things about my husband, and she never asked me any questions, I never gave her any information. She described my husband to a T to me, and just the little things that he used to say to me or say to my mom was so surreal. It was like he was right here with me, and it was just a true blessing. And then my grandmother coming in and my grandfather coming in, I never expected any of that. So all of it blew my mind. I'm completely sold. She's an amazing, godly woman, strong faith, and I think anybody with faith would love to hear what she has to say from the other side, because it's been a blessing and amazing. And maybe I can try to move on with my life now, because I've gotten some insight on where my husband's at, and I know he's in God's hands, and I'm grateful for that.
Why does she keep showing me unicorns? What is up with unicorns? And I keep hearing follow your dreams. Unicorns and follow your dreams.
So she mentioned something about reference to a unicorn, Tamara did, and it just so happened that right before we came to the show, we had hit a booth here, and I had, for no good reason, put on a headband that had a unicorn horn on it. And so that blew my mind that she referenced something about a unicorn, and I had literally just done it.
I'm writing a book, it's about a theory called superrelativity, and it's a unified field theory in the same sense that Einstein originally developed the concept. And while discussing some of these things with Tamara, Einstein actually came through. Tamara came up with a mention of Einstein and something to do with chickens. So I researched that because I wasn't aware of anything that had to do with being on a farm with chickens, and I was able to find a book where he had gone on a tour with a co-worker or some friend to a farm, and while he was there, the farmer was talking about the chickens and how he wakes them up every day and they lay the eggs. And then Einstein thought, well, gee, if that's what triggers them to lay the eggs, maybe you can wake them up early, like at midnight, and they'll lay an egg again. So that's what the farmer did, and doubled the production of chicken eggs. Now I think that's what is done nationally, in that they twice a day wake the chickens up, and that causes them to lay additional eggs. So there was some actual connection to farming and chickens that Einstein had. So I was able to verify that what she had said about Einstein and the chickens.
Well, Tamara started out by saying it was a woman. It was an African-American woman who was like a mother to me. I went ahead and raised my hand, and she kept on talking, and I said yes. We considered her our mom. The readings were just hitting home so much. She wanted me to go ahead and take care of myself and pamper myself. And she also was saying something about that I got out of the situation I was in. And that is very true. I got out of a situation that was not good for me. She went on to say that because of this problem with the situation, it was a legal matter. That's when I knew it was me, because I am going through a legal matter with my ex-husband of 12 years, and he's bringing me back to court. It was my mother. It was another female coming through, a strong character, is how she described it. Said something about the mother didn't want the person to let people walk all over them anymore, to stand up for themselves, basically. And that was my mom. She was a very strong woman. She reminded me that I don't need to let others walk all over me, that I should be standing up strong. I was very open to this. I was hoping something would happen, but I was going to accept if it didn't. But I never expected those two, and it brought tears to my eyes because it was so unbelievable that this happened to me. Tamara was on it. When she first started talking about Sybil, the first one, being a female African American, that was like, and a mother figure, that was Sybil. And then on Mom, oh gosh, my mom was a character, like I said. And when she said it's another female, a mother figure, and a very strong one, that was something I was hoping that I had gotten from my mother, was her strength. And so when I heard that, and then she said that I've got to quit letting people walk all over me, I knew it was Mom. And I really want to thank Tamara. She was very relaxing, gave us all the instructions, and left me open to hear my loved ones coming through. And I want to thank Tamara very much.
Well, she started out saying, things that were very unique to my brother. And as she went on, I could tell that it was my brother coming through. It was the most amazing experience. She physically brought him to me with a hug, and it was the best gift in the world.
My grandmother came through and said that the people I work for treat me like crap, basically. And she's like, I need to get away from that, go more toward working with maybe animals and the essential oils, and I already work with the oils, so she was 100% right on the money, accurate.
Hey, Donna.
Hey, Tamara. Thank you for having us on the Seeking Heaven YouTube channel. Thanks for having us on the live chat. And I am Donna Rebadow, and I'm just going to do a couple of quick things. I'm a sports medicine acupuncturist. One last thing would be I'm host of the Exploring Consciousness podcast, and that's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay, so let's see who's here for you. So I just need a yes or a no. Let me see who I have here. I've got a strong male here for you, and I feel like that this might be a father figure, your dad, and he stands here very strong and tall, and very proud. And I really feel like that. You were the son he never had. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm a sports person, so
okay, all right. But he and that's meant, everything is meant in total love. But they have a sense of humor, and he just, because what as this man presents himself, he is his person. Let's go into his personality, because he wants to jump on the message so bad. There's so much love for you, so much admiration. He wants to, and it's funny, they turn my head if it's the dad over here, and they turn the mother side over here. Why they do that, I don't know. So, and the friend right here. And so with him, he said, "Oh, there's a lot of people here for you." Okay, so we gotta jump on this. Man, you have a lot of people over there. And so he's very he's kind of classy guy. He's kind of quiet. He's the silent type, but when he talks is real important. And he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. He's an observer of life. He watches people, and he didn't like everybody. Now,
he did not.
In heaven, I'm sure he loves everybody, but in life, he didn't like everybody. Now, he wouldn't be ugly to them or say anything. He'd just leave them alone. But he was a very private person, and he didn't like people to get close up in his business. And what is the name with the W name? Walter William. What's the connection with that? Might not be him. I love how they have spirit Tourette's.
William's a family name.
Is that the last name?
No, Rebadow.
Okay, well, what's the family name? Does that
a lot of the males have the name William in it.
William. Okay, got it. Would that be him as well?
No.
Okay. So, because this is how they bring in other people. My husband says, "Can't they just say I got my brother here, my dad?" I'm like, I know, right? What the heck? I mean, come on.
It doesn't work that way.
I know, it's crazy. So I feel as though his daddy's here, and also he's got a brother. There's there's women here too. Okay. But you're just really connected. I feel like on a soul level with your dad. Y'all just have this thing. You just connect. I mean, you just drive. You have to know there's a lot of people here for, and you're in a lot of love, and there's females, but y'all have this thing going on together. So he wants to, he's talking about his hands. He worked with his hands, but he's got big hands or something. Do you understand? He's not really that big. I mean, he's thin, but he's got, I don't know, long fingers. He's laughing about it. He's laughing about it in life. Do you understand this? He had long fingers.
Yeah, I think I got that from him. I have long fingers.
You do? Okay. So that's the connection with you two.
That's
So he's having a laugh over that because
Yeah,
he's
he
not
should.
especially a big person, but he's got long fingers, and he's laughing like they're like tentacles, and he's having a joke with. So he's having so he wants to give you a message. I'm pretty sure this is your dad here.
Okay, it
So
seems like it.
Sure seems like it, and there's some other people here as well.
Okay.
And okay. He sees what you're doing in life. Oh God, what do you want to talk about? They get personal, but well, look, we won't get too personal here. I'm very
It's okay. I'm open book, so
I'm polite about things like
thank
that.
you.
And if it was really personal and good stuff, I'd say I'll talk to you afterwards. Okay. Out of courtesy. He's saying that you are very focused on service of other people.
Absolutely.
And helping, and you're almost obsessed with this. And he says, and he's like, you're an angel. And he's like, God, and he's like, bless you, bless you. He's just like, wow, that's my daughter. And he's like, and I'm like, I don't know if you can feel it, and you're going to start feeling it probably in your heart, because he is really here and just loves you so much admiration in so many ways. He's watching you as your teacher, to be able to. He said that he was shy. He said, okay, I might've been afraid at times of things. He said, I was afraid of my own shadow. There wasn't really anything to be afraid of. He didn't come across like that. No. But he was just a bit shy, but he's watching you going, wow, look at her go. And there is a part of you that is a bit reserved, but you do it anyway. But one of the things he wants to talk to you about, and he just thank you for what you're doing. And he said, I brag about you to everybody here in heaven. They got a little wallet with your picture in it, and they go, look at her, look what she's doing. But he's bragging and said, she's with me, look what she's doing. And they all know everything by thought at once. And you're a little earth angel, but he says that you don't take care of yourself, and that worries him. And he said that you also don't honor yourself for your own personal power or voice. And I'm asking if I can say this to him, because I get to say things too. And he said, yeah, go ahead. The I Am series really helps that. If you've ever heard the recorded thing with Gabriel, I am this, I am that. Actually, I did that driving. I was in like a God coma. I about went off the road. I wouldn't recommend it doing driving, but that will help a lot, because it's something like godly that happens. It'll really get you in your core there. But he says that you, it's okay to love yourself the way the world loves you, because the world loves you. And don't define yourself by what you've done. I don't know, like sports or here's a title, there's a title, there's a title. He said, you're so much more than that. And by doing that, you limit your own spiritual progress here. And know it's okay to be vulnerable. He said, you're great. He said, he loves your laugh. And when you giggle, and he said, you got a great laugh. It's very infectious. You're one of those people. And your smile, he said, it's like sunshine. He said, but you, it's okay to be vulnerable. See, when we make mistakes, we can make a mistake, whatever. And, people identify with that because they're not perfect either. So he's just saying that embrace it all. And as Jesus told me one time, he goes, embrace the good, bad, and the ugly, like that movie with Clint Eastwood. He said, because it's all you. It helps you to, all that makes you. He's just saying that you've worked hard for where you are, and you should be at peace with the beautiful progress that where you are in life, that you're given a lot of support on the other side. And so as you move forward, that you will continue to do that. And you also are doing something, I don't know if you're doing it now or not, or you will do it, but he's talking about, it feels like a charity, and it feels like with young children. And he said, and he's going, and he's winking. He goes, that's my girl. What's he talking about?
Yeah, if you saw my resume, you'd understand what he was talking about. So one of the myriad things I do, I'm writing a book about my guide dog. So I trained seeing eye dogs, got one back. We worked as a pet therapy team at Maricopa Medical Center with children. And I'm currently writing the book, Wednesdays with Sadie, Miracles at Maricopa.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Oh, well, you're going to be doing a lot of things, and I do see this. That's amazing. I'm a big dog person.
Well, you like the book.
I never had human kids, but I've had tons of furry kids.
Furry kids.
Tons of furry kids, and so so bless you on that.
Thank you.
He's talking about. He's showing me this. But he said, you want to travel, but you don't give yourself permission. So what I see, it looks like, bring them all along. It's almost like you're bringing some kids that are underprivileged, but they're special. I don't know if they're poor children. I don't know if they're like a little bit handicapped or learning disability, but you come up with something where you take them on a trip. And I see you walking on this hillside in this mountain, and he's showing me this scene. So you're like relentless at helping people. So I can't thank you enough, because I work my butt off, not just being a medium, but on the Seeking Heaven channel to and like Simon does, to have great guests and so forth, and to help people. And you're really stepping it up. He sent you his love. He loves you so much, and he wants to give you something. Hold on. What's he want to give you? Hold on. He wants to give you a gift.
I travel around the world helping children, from China to Croatia to Chiapas to Tibet, and it's not with organizations; it's with me and local people. Okay. I always bring stuff for the kids.
Okay, great. Well, we'll talk later afterwards. Another thing, because I have, God's put me in this great position where I'm putting people together that is like skyrocketing. I've always been that way, but I guess now's the time. So I'll definitely help you in some way with that. Let's see. I want to wrap up with this message. He's showing me your baby shoes, and then he's handing you my shoes, and he said you filled it well.
Oh.
You filled his shoes. And I feel like you're the patriarch. Sorry, of the family. Like he was the patriarch. You're like in charge now. You're the one that the trusted one, the one that's always the nurturing, the diplomat. That it's you. And there's some military men in your family, and they're saluting
Correct.
you. They're saluting
Thank you.
And they
I take care of my autistic brother.
That's where the learning disability.
I wonder if that's where. Yeah,
but you got a lot going on, man. I mean, like this.
I do.
I mean, you got a lot. I mean, you are really. Now I feel really bad. We got to step it up. We got to start some charities. We need to do something. I mean,
I'm in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I played professional softball. I was a hospital chaplain, raised seeing eye dogs, travel the world for helping kids. Hello, my name is Donna Rebadow, and I want to talk to you today about a psychic reading I recently had. My friend, Candice Sanderson, asked me to fill in as a guest with Tamara Caulder Richardson, known as the Southern Belle Medium, on her YouTube channel last month. Candy had been a former guest on Tamara's show and had been asked to participate in a free reading so that folks could see how evidential Tamara was with the information that came in for her. Tamara wanted 2 guests, and the other one had to bow out at the last minute because of family situation. And that's how I became a guest. Tamara didn't know anything about me and really didn't have any time to look up information about me or my background, as some critics have said that mediums do. There were 2 things that I told her at the beginning of the reading, and if you watch episode 80, on her channel, you can see how uncomfortable even having this little amount of information prior to the reading made Tamara. What I told her was, 1, I was a sports medicine acupuncturist, and 2, that I hosted the Exploring Consciousness podcast. That was it. So now she knew my name and those 2 things about me. That was it. As I said, this was a live reading, so please watch the entire reading on her YouTube channel called Seeking Heaven, the Near-Death Experience, and look for episode 80. My reading starts at 30 minutes and 16 seconds, and Candy's reading starts at 45 minutes, 46 seconds. As Tamara said, I had a lot of people and support on the other side when she started the reading. She said there were so many there, it was really hard to choose who she was going to focus on. But she chose the correct one, my dad. For starters, it's a great validation to know that she perfectly described my father's personality. She said, he's kind of a classy guy. He's kind of quiet. He's the silent type, but when he talks, it's real important. He's a smart guy. He's an observer of life. He watches people. He doesn't like everybody, but he wouldn't be ugly to him or anything, or say anything. Just leave him alone. He was a very private person, and he didn't like people to get up close to his business. That fit my dad to a T, so I knew that he had come in. Next, Tamara mentioned, is there a Walter or a William also being brought into the reading? She wanted to know if that was important. She thought it might be one of my dad's brothers or maybe the name of his father, my grandfather. And I thought that was amazing evidence because I have several Williams in my family. Just so you know, I have an uncle that went by Bill, an uncle that went by Bud, and my brother who went by J.R. as he carried my dad's first name of Norman. So his name is Norman William Rebadow Jr., so we called him J.R. So even though she said William, if she looked up any of my relatives, what she would have found was Bill, Bud, and J.R., not knowing that their names really were William. And I thought that was pretty good evidence. Then Tamara mentioned my dad working with his hands and that he had long fingers. And the only thing I could think of was that I have long fingers, like a piano player or a pianist. Maybe I got that from him, but we never really have talked about that. She then said my father was very anxious to get some messages to me. She said my father had a lot of pride in me, and that's very true. I can tell you that one. She said I can totally feel him around me all the time, and I can. She said, pay really close attention to my dogs because they can sense him too. In fact, I was always wondering what were they looking at? I didn't know who in the spirit world they were watching. Now I know it's my dad. I love that my dad now can see that I've grown up into other areas, into areas of such as spirituality, my charity work, my exploring consciousness journey. And he said in fact, I was amazed that he said that he was learning a lot from me. My dad passed away when I was 30 years old, so a lot of what I had done, I didn't think he got to see, but I should have known better. Then came a message that would have described me in my past, but not now. Tamara said my father said, you don't take care of yourself, and that worries him. I actually do take better care of myself now, but I can really understand what he was talking about. But what she said next was really, really accurate. And I could hear my father say this. He said, you don't honor yourself or your own personal power or voice. And he says it's okay to love yourself the way the world loves you because the world loves you. And don't define yourself by what you've done. Now, Tamara had not seen my resume. She didn't know anything about me. She had no idea all the things that I've done and accomplished. So she says, I don't know. It's like a sports or there's a title. Here's a title, there's a title. And he said, you're so much more than that. But by doing that, by defining yourself by those titles, you limit your own spiritual progress here. And it's okay to be vulnerable. He said, you're great. Now that's something my dad would say to me. I'm reserved because he is. I'm like him, very much like him. And because of my sports background, I'm extremely hard on myself. And I do not like to be vulnerable. So I think she was right on. Absolutely right on there. Next, my dad showed Tamara that he had my baby shoes. And then he showed Tamara his shoes. And he commented how I've grown into his shoes. And I want to tell you guys, absolutely no one on this planet, not my brothers, my sisters, my best friend, nobody would know that when I was little, I used to put my bare feet into his shoes. Now, this happened all during my childhood. And I would wonder, when I put my feet into his shoes, I would wonder, am I ever going to be able to grow into my dad's shoes? Now, no one could have known that. That one really blew me away. I just was shocked by that one. Another piece of evidence was the focus of military in my family. Now, I come from a large family, and between my uncles and my aunt's husbands. My dad and 10 of my uncles served in World War II. My brother served in the Army in Vietnam. My nephew in the Navy, I believe, in Afghanistan. My brother-in-law in the Marines in Vietnam. And I know a lot of my first cousins served in the military. She said I got a military salute from my family for all the work that I had done, and that brought me to tears. That was a good one. Then she talked about traveling with disabilities, kids. I work with kids with disabilities, and I travel a lot. So I wondered if the traveling thread was an analogy about a reference to my out-of-body travels. I wasn't sure about that comment. A curious comment was her comment that I'm patriarch of my family. That kind of made me laugh, but it made me think of all my spiritual children and grandchildren. I call them my kids. They're all around the world. They come to me for love, support, and advice. I could be up at 2 o'clock in the morning talking to someone in, Norway. I'm not sure. That would definitely qualify me as some type of patriarch. But I would have much rather that they said matriarch, but okay. The largest validation I received was not through all these details, but how I felt. And the reading made me feel very comfortable, gave me a sense of healing and support. This would definitely qualify me to say that you should get a reading from Tamara. It's absolutely wonderful to hear from your family on the other side. Now, I'm a near-death experiencer. That means I've been over there, but there's nothing like being here in the 3D and hearing from them. So it was really good. What Tamara was saying was coming in loud and clear, and she is a gift for those that need that comfort from people on the other side. And like Candy said, I'm going to quote Candy on her validation of Tamara. Tamara, I want to thank you for this beautiful reading and healing and comfort it gave me. Your reading made me realize we're not alone. Even though I knew that, it's always good to have that evidence. That evidence is really important. Though our loved ones might be on the other side, their love never dies. And during the reading, they returned to me to reconnect. And I agree with Candy. Tamara, you're the best. Thank you, Tamara and Simon, for setting that up for this reading. I appreciate it. Namaste.
Do we have somebody else that we'll be doing a reading for this evening?
We do. We have Candice, who is awesome. I mean, you thought Donna was awesome. No wonder you're friends. Candice is such a wonderful, bubbly person. Thank you for setting up, because at the last minute we had someone, they couldn't make it, a doctor's appointment. And then Candice said, I have someone, and we'll be there. And so thank you for setting that up.
You're welcome. I knew she would be perfect. So
oh,
this was
perfect.
great.
And I really like her family. Usually I tell them they can leave, but I really like her dad. I'm like, he's cool. And usually when that happens, I'm usually become friends with someone, because then what happens is their family meets my family. I'm like, and they hang around a while. That's usually the sign.
Perfect.
Isn't that cute? You
It
see how
is.
we're connected in heaven and on earth? Are you ready for your family? Goodness, I don't know who's going to show up.
Absolutely. I'm
Okay.
ready. Bring it on.
Oh. All right. Okay. Well, so, I get what I get, and I can't edit it. I mean, I try to be polite, when I'm bringing it through, but I can't edit this. Let me tell you who's here first. Hey,
Okay.
It is what it is. I'm getting a slew of angels. I'm getting, first of all, I'm getting Gabriel, and he said that he works with both of us, and he's the messenger of God. I'm getting Raziel. I'm not particularly sure why. I'm also seeing a blue haze, Michael, with you.
Oh, wow.
You work with Shamel with the heart, is what I'm being told. Shamel.
Oh, that gave me cold chills.
Did it? He used
Yes.
to work with me a lot during my and people. And I want to say this: all of us here, including Donna, we can't see; she's in the virtual green room. We've all worked on ourselves spiritually a lot. Okay, so it's not like this that boom, it happened. The light bulb went off. So I worked with him a lot during healing and abuse and stuff. He worked with me a lot. they're all around, but this is who's working with you a lot now with the heart, because you're trying to communicate with Gabriel with the heart to people, because you can't connect spiritually here. You have to do it through the heart source. And so you are really working very closely. You, oh my God, Jesus is here. He loves you. Oh my God. He's a love
Welcome.
bug. He's a love bug. And so is Mother Mary, which is always interesting to me because I wasn't raised Catholic. I'm like, well, she's here. But she has a very, she's usually around also too, sometimes with females, difficulty, pain, around children. And oh my gosh, okay. You got a deeper reading. Great. If we go over like 10 minutes, guys, this is going to be kind of cool. See, this is what I mean. You go where the person wants to go, not to say it can't go deeper and all that, but this is where you are. So your grandmother is here. Now, and I feel as though you also have a mother here, but your grandmother, I don't know if you're closer to your grandmother, but she steps forward and she's like, and she's like acknowledging she's with Mother Mary. Now, I don't know if there's Catholic going on there. I don't know the connection or what have you, but she goes, oh yeah, it's okay. But I'm feeling as though the grandmother, and I'll describe her to you. You have several people here for you. And I feel mom, grandmother, there's more people, but I'm not going to look at them behind me. I'm going to look right here, because they're talking about tragedies you've been through in life and how proud she is of you. But I see they wanted to jump in the message, but I got to give you some evidence so you know. So, all right. So this would be your, okay. So this would be your mother's mother, is what I'm feeling. Now I could be wrong, but I get it by how it feels. Kind of like you do when you see two people together, oh, they act like sisters, So I feel like it's your grandmother of your mother's mother. And she was more, I guess you would say, we can say, I guess, religious, because they didn't have that word spiritual back then. But
Right.
she didn't push it on people or anything like that. But she had her own private feelings about God and all that, and she was pretty devout and faithful. Do you understand this?
I do. I didn't know her very well because I was, fairly young when she passed.
Okay, well, she said something about pearls in the family. Now, when they say something, one thing can mean several things. This is one of those. So she said pearls. I think you're the pearl. The next thing is the pearl. Is there is now most of the times they mention objects in life. They're usually like 9 out of 10 times not worth a lot of money. They're more sentimental. But she's mentioning pearls, so I don't know if she's got a kind of a pearl set. You remember like in the 40s and 50s, they would have they would make them really nice, but they weren't real.
Right,
Those.
right.
And I don't know if your mom got them and then you got them, but she said you've got a sister. What's she talking about?
I have a sister who's passed, but the pearls, I have a picture of my mother when she was young, and she has on a set of pearls.
Oh, got it. Okay. And so the pearls did exist. I don't know where they are.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you know where they are? Probably not. Okay, good. That's fine.
Well, maybe.
Maybe, question mark. I told Simon and I were talking, Spirit loves to put people on treasure hunts. Like, you got it. They'll tell me a lot of times the gold bracelet is with your aunt. And then they'll call and they go, it's there. So they do that just so they can show they're here. But the pearl, this is one of those things. So you're the pearl. She had on pearls. You recognize that photograph. There are pearls. It's, I don't know who has these pearls. But did you see how they brought in the sister through the pearls? Why? Who? Because she got the pearls? Your sister got the pearls and she's on the other side, correct?
I don't know if my sister got the pearls, but I do have a sister on the other side.
Okay. So as soon as you did that, they did something else. They're so simple but deep. They can talk in complexities because they're multidimensional beings. Wow, more than me. So I got to be up on my game. Now they're showing me a pearl thread like peas in a pod. They're showing grandmother, mother, sister, like a string of pearls. Okay. And said that you are, now they're showing me at a bead, and they are saying you're one of the pearls on the bead, and said that you're like the 4 musketeers, that you have to be together. Now I want to go back to the grandmother, even though you might not have known her, or you might have been a little girl when she passed, right?
Yes.
You were young. Okay.
Right.
So when this happens, I'll give them something now to say what you're doing, so you know they're there. But I'm going to tell you first why she's here. She said you have, well, first of all, your soul family. Just because you don't remember it all, you are. She's very gentle. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this. Would you know if I tell you some things, her basic personality, and would you get an idea of stories you've heard?
Probably, yes.
Okay. Okay, good. So she, again, was very faithful, really into family. Again, she wasn't preachy. She's kind of quiet. She wasn't a preachy person. She just had a very grounded view of God and then family. And she was a very gentle, kind woman. And she liked doing things for other, but more on a simple level, like cooking and helping here and there where she could. She had a generosity of spirit about herself. And she had almost, and I'm feeling, where am I getting this? I'm feeling a nun-like quality. Don't know if she came from some family of nuns but I'm really feeling a nun quality. I'm feeling like nun. So I don't know. Would you know if you're on your mom's side, that there is some type of, because I'm seeing nuns and I'm seeing monastery. Would you understand this? You being in your family history?
Not that I know of. That's going to require me to do a little investigation.
Because I don't get this always. I got it one other time with someone and they found out and they go, no, I'm not Catholic. But what it was, she lived at a place that used to be a monastery, and she picked up a lady that's her guide. And she actually said, you got a cross? She goes, yeah. She found it in the ground. But I feel it's your family. Okay. So what I'm getting from this is your grandmother, I heard the word holy. She was like holy, and you have a purity of spirit like her, and that's why they chose you. She prays for you on the other side and intercedes. She has, she pulls them together for you, angels, family, and they intercede for you, and they help you energetically to open this portal. Now, I know your portal's good. That's why I like you. Donna's got a good portal. My portal's really good. Not all portals are good. I just want to FYI that to people. Not all portals are good, but these are like the higher realm, beautiful love, God, all that. So she's with you. Do you understand your mom being in spirit?
Yes.
Okay. They both love you. You know, they're here because tremendous love, tremendous support. They're really helping you on the other side. She's saying, I'm sorry, I could not be more of a support to you. She's saying at times your mom liked things, she's telling me, certain types of ways. She just had to have things in place. She didn't like things out of order. Things just had to be just so. And because of that, it made her a little, what is OCD? Made her a little uptight about things. And she said she didn't need to be fussy about stuff, but that was her own personal issues. But that was her way of control to having a nice home and so forth. And she wanted to have a proper place for her kids to grow up. Does this make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay. So it's kind of an apology here. Like, sorry, I was a little obsessed with the house cleaning in the house and not, when I need to be more present time with you and my family. She says that when she was younger, you favored. You look like you looked at when she was younger, you favored.
Yes. I actually have a twin sister. We're fraternal, and I look like my mother on the mother side of the family. My twin is on the father side of the family. Yes, we certainly favored.
So she's saying, you're welcome. That's cute. And I see her as a very classy woman, almost dressing, I don't know, preppy, but like a socialite, just a classy lady. And and I feel as though we're not going to go too much into it. And plus, I don't like representing, our loved ones in spirit. Bad times, I like to talk about good times, but she did have something that was, she health-wise disease that took her down. And she said, I'm sorry that I can't be there. She has a couple, gosh, you got a lot of people over there too. No wonder you and Donna are friends. Oh my God. Oh my God. We got to wrap this up, guys. Okay. Okay. So she's got a couple, she said, please, just a little longer. She sends you her love. She's sorry. I think you must have been one of the main caregivers. So let's finish this with your mom, because she's saying, thank you. I'm sorry you had to see that. Do you understand her message? Yes. She
Yes,
loves you,
yes.
loves you, loves you. She said, I'm totally great now. And she's showing me, she's got a little way. She goes, I'm having the time of my life. Okay. And I feel like she's doing a dance, like it's a 50s sock hop, but it's a little classier party than that. And she's doing chubby checkers twist, and she looks really good. She's got a little waist. And she said, I'm having the time of my life. Everybody's here. It's so much fun. So she sends her love. She's with you a lot. Again, they come as a group. Well, they do with a lot of us, but they really, like, again, strings of a pearl. She also has your sister here. Who is the J name? Like Jennifer?
Jana, that's
Jana.
my sister on the other
That's your
side.
sister.
Yes.
Okay, good. So she is here as well. And God, you can't make this up. She's now all in play, but she wants to slap you in the head. And she's it's like a love thing. I don't understand it. She's like, hey, it's like something you did as a kid. And she said, she's just being playful with you, very playful. And she said that you thought that she would be with you always. And you must have said this, because she's responding to it saying, I am. So part of the reason that you have opened up is two things. You're pure of heart. Hey, take note, guys. This is what you get with that. The other thing is with the pure of heart, you've got the support over there, but also they want to still communicate with you too. And so this is, you love them so much. We're bound by the love. That's why many times someone has a loss and they'll start communicating with spirit, because they really want to communicate with them. So that's what happens.
Yeah. It's all about love, isn't it?
It's all about love. And you do talk to her, and you do talk to her, and she's with you a lot. And she is also one of your supporters. You say guides. I don't like using that word, teachers. She's not. You're actually one of their teachers. So kind of like they're learning from you, but they're also helping. And this is kind of a back and forth. You also have your mother is bringing forth, and I wish I could shorten it. She loves you a lot, but she's with you a lot, and she says you know it too. You know, she's around your sister, yeah. And it's not like she's going anywhere. These people are not going anywhere, okay? They're going home with you. But there is a man that your mother is bringing forward. And she said, he's a handsome man. She said, boy, what a handsome man. And I feel like he's presenting himself in a proper way, as though he might be courting you. And he's got a suit on, almost like, and I'm asking, what does this suit look like? And he's giving me all these. I said, what about Dick Van Dyke? He goes, and he's like, no. He's saying that's like stupid looking. And I'm like, okay. I said, what about James Bond? He said, closer. He said, I like the Sean Connery one. Oh my God. These are the conversations I have with your family. And so he's presenting you with a bouquet of 24 red roses.
Oh.
And he said, you are my first love and my always love. And he says, moments of sadness will be replaced by true joy. I'm with you always. I just want for your highest good and your happiness. And I thank you for our children, because they are not only are they our offspring, but they are the seeds of the flower that grow in this world that will nourish others to love such as we, because our love was great. And this sounds like a husband.
Yes, it is.
And he said, it's okay. And he's also encouraging you. Oh God, here we go. He's encouraging you that I know you love me and I'll always love you. And there's no question on that, but we can't have the arrangement we have right now. So it's okay. I would prefer someone to watch over you. although you're very independent and you don't like that idea always.
Right.
And he said, but I want that. I would like that because no one should be left alone. And I would like to assist with that. Don't ask me how they do it, but they do. And he said, Jesus is here. Again, don't do eHarmony, do Jesus. They're so good about this. I don't know how they do it. But he's saying that you are stubborn. Sometimes you're very stubborn and you're not betraying me. You're not betraying me or my love. That this is something separate. It's difficult being here. I get it. I really want someone to help you and be around in life and someone that I would like. So please allow me to assist with that because I love you. I haven't stopped loving you. It's okay. It's just a different thing now. Don't get hung up. What we once were, we're going to always be, but in a different manner. Right. Do you understand this message from him?
Oh, not only do I understand it, it's not the first time he's told me that. I mean, I went to a medium a few years ago, and Tamara, it was almost verbatim, where he's coming in and saying,
"You didn't listen."
Right. I'm ready for you to move on. I mean, so yes, I do understand it.
And do you understand
it's like
about
deja vu?
The 24 roses, but he comes to you like a proper like date, like he's got a suit. He goes, this is how I want her to see me, in a proper suit. And it's like a very tailored styled, proper suit, nothing too trendy, nothing dorky, like nice looking, where he would feel good about himself. And he looks to be 32. And he looks about that age. He says, I didn't like, I look younger. I look older. And so he sends his love to you and the girls. You have girls?
I have a girl and a boy, but then I have the girls, which are the grandchildren, his grandchildren. And the little one just turned 5 yesterday. It was her birthday.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So he's acknowledging the new babies, not just the children you had. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. He's with you a lot. He wants to take it a step further. And here's the thing. If you go to a medium and if you have someone give an apology or if they're giving you a message, if you don't really listen, here they are again.
Right.
Here they are. Here you go. He wants to say something a little bit more. It doesn't feel finished, and then we're done. And you always know how to get in touch with me as well.
Right.
But he's saying it starts with you. Okay, now I'm seeing why you and Donna are friends. You have the same issue. You're so busy giving that taking care of yourself is having a nice fish meal, because that's not what I'm talking about. He's saying deeper. He's saying that there's a part of you doesn't feel like you deserve that and happiness. I don't know where it comes from. Doesn't really matter. I mean, we all have issues. Doesn't matter. Most people have that on some level, but and some guilt associated with it. And he goes, it is not real. He goes, I don't know why he's like real frustrated. He said, I don't know, you're beautiful. Why would you limit your beauty? And you're a wonderful, loving woman. Why would you not have someone appreciate that? And he said, I'm fine with that. They're different. They're ascended. That.
Right.
And you think, oh gosh, do we need to cover that? It's not the same as with here. It's not the same, married, love, sex. They're ascended, different plane, different reality. This is not the game. We're talking about a higher love. So he just wants you to be happy. He says that he wants you to search your soul. And he said in there, he said that is beauty. He said, but don't be afraid to hold up the mirror to see the beauty that I see, because first you have to see it before someone else will. And he said, and at that point, the right person will come and you will know, because they will smile. And when they smile, you'll see me smiling through them. And I think it's because he's like a kindred spirit with this person he's going to bring to you. And you're going to feel they're a lot like him. And he's like, yeah, I want someone that would be like a brother to me, that would feel that I like. He said, after all, I'm going to hang around and might as well like him, because he's never really leaving you. So he's always right now. Does this final little bit make sense? He wants you to encouraging you to move on.
It certainly makes sense. And the part you say about the smile, and I'll see the smile in him, that's what first attracted me to my husband. He had this most beautiful, infectious smile and beautiful sense of humor and these beautiful dimples, but it was his smile. So that really hits home when you say that.
Yeah. And he's still very present. Again, they can multitask,
Yeah.
be there and here. He's such a part of you. They see what you're doing. They give you support. But we've got to, and I get it. Look, I struggle with taking time for me and all that. Look, I mean, I'm like the pot calling the kettle black. I'm like, but I recognize it. I see it. And whether it's, you know, being with someone else or whatever you need to do, we need to honor what we need in this world. So we
Right.
can, it's okay to be happy. I guess that's the message. It's okay to move on and be happy. And life changes. You know, our needs change. Our who we are changes. So know that you're getting a lot of support on the other side. I hope you enjoyed your reading today.
Oh, I did. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you so much, Candice. And see Candice next Thursday and Friday. She's amazing on the Seeking Heaven channel. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
God bless
Bye-bye.
y'all. Thank you, Donna. And I love your friend too. Cool. She's awesome. Okay, take care.
Hi, my name is Candice Sanderson, and I want to share an experience with you. Last month, I had a reading with the Southern Belle Medium, Tamara Caulder Richardson. It was a live reading, so if you want to watch it, go to her YouTube channel, Seeking Heaven, the Near-Death Experience, and look for episode 80. During this mini reading, several people came through, including my grandmother, my mother, my sister, and my husband. In addition, there were angels, which I thought was pretty cool. But the first to arrive was my maternal grandmother. One thing Tamara mentioned was a pearl necklace. She said these pearls were also related to my mom. Since both my mom and grandma have passed, I had no way to find out, first of all, whether they owned pearl necklaces, much less whether my grandmother had given my mother a string of pearls. Tamara also used the string of pearls as an analogy connecting me to my mother and my grandmother. So I figured, you know, that must be the case. It's an analogy. You see, when I was very, very young, my grandmother passed, and I only have 1 or 2 memories of her. So I figured this would take some investigation on my part. The next day after the reading, I started searching. Imagine my surprise when I found an old picture album with lots of photos in it. But there were only 3 pictures of my mother and grandmother. There were 2 of my mother, 1 of my grandmother. And as you can see, in each picture, they were all wearing pearls. I loved this validation. They all had pearls on. But another huge validation came when Tamara said my grandmother was bringing in my sister in spirit. And she said, a sister with the J name. And it's like, yes, my sister Jana, who passed away many, many years ago when she was in her early 20s. My mom came in next with messages. But when Tamara said that my mom was bringing in a handsome man, I got cold chills. Cold chills have always been a sign for me. Cold chills always tell me when something important is happening, something that I really need to pay attention to. So this was a huge validation for me. When she said the handsome man, as you can see, it could only mean one thing. My husband, Daryl. Look at him. He was very good looking. And although I didn't say who it was when Tamara mentioned this, shortly after that, she said, if this is your husband, another validation. She said she saw him and guessed his age to be around 32. Well, that was spot on. He had just turned 35 when he died of cancer way back in 1987. Although he was very nice looking, what attracted me to him was his smile and his sense of humor. He had a smile that would light up the world around him. He was such a vivacious, energetic, fun person to be with. But Tamara saw him in this suit, And she asked him if he looked like Dick Van Dyke. Now, back when Daryl and I grew up, there was the Dick Van Dyke Show. He was this popular comedian. Daryl quickly told Tamara no. But it's interesting that the first person she mentioned was a comedian. Daryl was certainly my comedian. He kept me in stitches, laughing so hard most of the time. Then Tamara asked my husband if he looked more like James Bond. And Daryl immediately said he was like Sean Connery. I thought, this is him exactly. Now, it's not the looks, but it's the quick wit. And that nailed him, nailed his personality to a T. Tamara saw him give me a spirit bouquet of 24 red roses, and he said I was his always love. The last words he spoke on earth were to me as I was holding him just before he slipped into a coma. He looked into my eyes and he said, I love you. So yes, I am his always love, and he is mine. Then he thanked me for the children, the girls. He's talking about the grandchildren. Lorelei just turned 9 and Shalane recently turned 5. Daryl was with them before they were born on the other side, but that's a story for another time. But I know that he's connected to them and he watches them as they grow. So when Tamara said that he was talking about the children, it's like, yes, he is. I know that he is. Tamara then gave me a message from him that I've heard before about it's time to date, get out there, see others. No thanks. But what she said next really rang a bell. Daryl said he would arrange for this to happen. And when I see them smile, I would see his smile come through. What was so significant about this was acknowledging Daryl's smile. That is what first attracted me to him. And I've said this for years. So when she said I would see his smile come through to others, I knew this was from him. But the largest validation I received, though, was not through these details that rang so true, but instead it was what I felt, especially with my husband. I felt his presence. I knew that he was there. I had this swelling in my heart that told me he was really here. So in closing, Tamara, I just want to thank you for this beautiful reading. I want to thank you for the healing and the comfort that it gives me. Your reading makes me realize that we are never alone. And although our loved ones may have transitioned, their love never dies. And during your reading, they returned to me through you to reconnect. So thank you, Tamara. You're the best.
Also, I was going to tell you that it kept coming through. I know we're done with this segment, but what kept coming through, did you have an old rag? It just feels like a rag that I don't know if you used to use it to like work on the car, but a rag, and it became the thing, and you did a pull of thing with a rag.
Yes, I
did. Showing me the rag, like it's not a toy, like is this a toy? No, it's the rag. I loved it when he would bring the rag out.
That's true.
Yeah, bring the rag out. And then the other dog, now there's an Australian Shepherd, and I want to almost say this dog looks like gray blue. This dog I'm looking at, it's like a blue tint, like a gray. It's a beautiful, unusual dog. It's got, which dog am I? You got a lot of dogs, but there's a dog that's got like a gray tint to it. And when it's bathed, it looks just this amazing gray with speckles.
That's probably Tweety.
Okay.
My son named her after, he was a little kid and he liked cartoons and Tweety Bird. He named her Tweety, and she was awesome. She was an Australian Shepherd also. When I lived at the beach, I had a beach house there, That dog had quite a personality. There was a hamburger stand by me.
Steal socks. Is that the one that stole socks? Because I'm
Yeah,
being,
yeah, that's it. That's it.
I talked to them. They're telling me I would still. I think it was your son's socks. Was it little sock? Stole the
Yeah.
sock.
Yeah.
Bad.
But I actually, there was a hamburger stand by me, and I was a single parent at the time, and the dog, I had a tab at a cheeseburger stand, a hamburger stand right by my house, and I told Tony, the guy that owned I said, if you see Tweety in the back there, just give her one hamburger and put it on my tab, and I would pay it when I got paid the first of the month. It was kind of
Gosh.
she was just kind of like a happy-go-lucky, and that way I always knew that, you know, she'd go down to, she would put her foot against the door, the back door of the, and Tony would come out and he'd cook her up a hamburger and give it to her, and then put it on my tab. And she liked cheeseburgers, so I said, yeah, throw a thing of cheese on it and I'll pay the difference. But I've had some real characters for animals.
Oh my gosh, Spool. That is so cute. I don't know if it was your son, but it was like a game. She would hide the socks, not chew on them, but hide. It's just the same one. Hide the socks, and it was a little
That's
game.
her.
Like, oh, well, where do you find the sock? And it was just a little game that
She was a sporting dog. I mean, frisbees, like on the beach. She was awesome.
And what's the deal? I'm being shown like binoculars. Did you ever do like, did you either hunt, or what's the deal looking at birds? Binoculars. What's the binoculars about? You know what it is? It feels like you're in a car. Did you ever have a dog in a car with you looking through binoculars?
I'm sure I did.
And it feels like, I feel like I almost want to say it's a German Shepherd.
Yes.
You're not hunting like to kill. You're hunting like you're looking for something, like you're in the search. And
I know what it is, because it's when I was going whale watching, and had a German Shepherd named Cheyenne that was. So Cheyenne's there too?
Cheyenne, yes. Said, and said that it's important. They're telling me what you did with them, and they said it's a really important job. We would do this together. It was very important, because I feel like you're searching for something, not like you're the hunt to kill, but like you're hunting, you're searching for something. Like it was a task. It wasn't like just let me look, like it was an effort to look for something. And she said it was very important. And it looks like a German Shepherd, really very, very sweet. Kind of different, more this dog liked to be told what to do. It liked it better when you would tell it what to do, like go do this, go do that, it felt comfortable in this way, and saw you as the alpha and was fine with that, and just liked to do whatever you told it to do. It just liked that a lot. And then I'm seeing also it looks like a red ball associated with this dog. Yeah, it's funny how they think about these simple little things that you do together as really like that was an important job. But your dog's still doing that with you.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me at all.
And did you have your first wife? Did she have a wiener dog? There's a dog associated with your first wife. I don't know if it didn't really look like a beagle. I think it's like a dachshund. Early on, because I don't think that's your kind of dog.
No.
But I'm seeing it associated with her. The dogs all know each other, but there's a dachshund associated indirectly to you through the first wife that I also see too. You got a lot of varmints around you. And I almost want to say, like, I think it's a raccoon. I don't know if did you ever feed a raccoon like a cat? You thought it was a cat, but it was a raccoon? It's like a random wildlife. That's what it feels like, a random wildlife.
I'm not sure, but I've had issues with raccoons in the past. But that's because of where I lived. But I've never.
You don't kill them.
No, I don't. I actually I had these cages where they're just trapped, and then you just relocate them some other place, and then they end up back at your place again.
And I think at some point you thought it might have been a cat, or there could have been a cat, but the raccoon was eating it. And you know what the message is? Thanks for the food.
Oh.
Random raccoon. It's not a possum. It feels like a raccoon, but yeah, we've done that before with squirrels. We had a gang leader squirrel, and he got really bold. He was going in the back of my house, right up to the back sliding door, where I had my herbs and where I cook and I'll go get them. And he was in there digging, and he would just look at us and flip us off. I was like, oh my God, he's bold. And then he would just come right up to us and like want to argue with my dogs at the back door. So we had to relocate him. And we always, he just cussed us out when we let him out. He didn't like that at all. Well, I guess we have to go to, thank you so much. That was so sweet. I love that story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is NDEr, and back in March when my father, Robert, visited me, he sat down with my oldest daughter and I, and he showed the Puppy Love podcast with Tamara Caulder Richardson, and my daughter and I were just sitting back like, wow, look at all these little details. And my daughter had asked me, well, how much of it is true? And it said, well, the stuff with the Australian Shepherd, that was my dog, Sweetie. I had her from the time I was 3 years old. And those details that Tamara picked out about hiding the socks and hiding the shoes, and my dog was a cheeseburger eating machine. To say the least. She picked up on that, and the rags also. She'd put the rag in her mouth, and she'd like to play tug of war with that. And then I learned about some of the other dogs in my dad's life that were prior to me coming on board. He always told me about his dog Penny. About the red ball, and how Penny was his first dog, and the one that was his first love. And then about Scooter Pie, his border collie, and Scooter was very active. I was around for Scooter, and she had two puppies, Mickey and Jake, that also helped my dad round up the cattle that he had. But just the like all the details, like most people don't know that. I even found out through that podcast that my mom had a dachshund right around the time she and my father were dating. And it's like, dachshund, that wasn't coming up on my radar. So a few weeks later, I put in a call to my mom, like, hey, by the way, did you guys ever have a dachshund at any time, a wiener dog? She's like, yeah, right when your father and I were dating. Probably the most unusual tidbit I got out of that was Tamara saw a raccoon. I remember there was a raccoon. I was about 4 or 5 years old at the time, and I gave him the nickname Rocky after the Paul McCartney song, Rocky Raccoon. And this raccoon was such a unique character. He'd go so far as to, I mean, he loved our cat's food. He'd break into cat's food. We'd leave food out for other feral animals. Usually you'd see Rocky the raccoon right there at the doorstep.
The raccoon had quite an attitude. I mean, I could not believe it because they're supposed to be, I thought they were supposed to be nocturnal. He'd be lurking around all day at the house. And when he took the pie that we baked and put in, it was so hot, I couldn't give it to Dan at the time, so I opened the window of the kitchen and put it on the window ledge. And the next thing I know, we both saw Rocky steal the pie and took off with it. Anyways, I really want to thank Tamara for bringing out the raccoon, and what I think she said that he was thankful for the food that we gave him. I'm glad he appreciated it.
Well, the cool experience for me was to be able to share some intricate details about my life and my dad's with my oldest daughter that were deeply recessed memories. But Tamara brought those to the forefront.
Again, I'd like to thank Tamara Caulder Richardson for allowing us to come back and address some of these things that happen.
So, Tamara, thank you for sharing that with my father and with my family.